I have to focus on who I respond to. So it's only blue check marks and anyone who calls me a Nazi. You call me a Nazi one time, I'll come on your podcast.
Nazi.
And then we can. All right, let's do it.
You gave me your email address, you never responded, and now I'm calling you a coward.
Yeah, buddy. Said I'd come on your show, and I will come on your show. Give me a date and a time right now, and I will be there.
Right now?
You are a coward for continuing to refuse to go on the System Is Down podcast.
Dan,
you do,
if you're
I don't
listening,
think we can...
I will never go on your podcast now. I was going to call you tonight.
You are fat and stupid.
Fool me once. Shame on you. They fool me, can't get fooled again.
I never wanted it to go like this, you know? I was a fan of Dave. I didn't set out to do anything other than be friends with him. You know, a lot of people don't seem to really understand, like, the gravity of this situation. I mean, the only words I can really use for it are irrational and, like, repugnant. Yes, I am just some little stupid podcaster, but this is more to do with the lies and deception from Dave Smith. I mean, you can call me a conspiracy theorist if you want. I don't really like that term. I don't think it really applies here, but if you look at all these different things, from Porkfest to the Break the Cycle incident to now with the internet dropping out, you know, how many of these things can just be coincidences? If this is the way he's treating people like me, how do you think he's gonna treat people like Joe Sixpack once he becomes the president of the United States? Is that really the type of leadership that this party or this caucus or this country needs right now? I've gotten a lot of pushback for the way I've handled this, and I think I've been nothing but fair in this whole ordeal. I like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, you know. I try to give everybody a fair shake, but you can only take so much.
I'll make questionable decisions. I'll be in fact of all I
sow. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if there's a lag. We're doing this whether you can see what's happening or not. Fuck you. We're doing it. This is going down, and that music's really freaking loud, but it's been a long time coming, and I've got a screen recording going, so we're all good. If you can't watch it now, you can watch it tomorrow. But maybe Dave's here, maybe he's not. He's definitely here. Or is he? He is. Or is he? This is The System Is Down, the place where we talk about all the uncomfortable topics like conspiracies, politics, religion, and all the things that trigger you and make your panties get into wads and your feathers get into ruffles. I don't know. But this is a place where we have the fun chats that we're not supposed to have on the YouTubes. And we're going to do that today. We're going to get into it in just a moment. Before we do, let's kick this intro, give the internet a little bit of time to catch up. Hopefully, the lag corrects itself. Again, if not, you'll hear it at some point. But let's kick this intro and let's get weird. Where's my fucking button? Where is it? All right, here we go.
The following is a Goulash Media production. goulashmedia.net.
I'll make questionable decisions. I'll be in fact of all I sow. I'll be
we're here. And I'm sorry, laggers. I don't know what to tell you. I literally spent all day watching my internet tick down. It was like as the temperature dropped, you could just divide the temperature. Once it got below 20, you could divide the temperature in half. That's what my megabyte upload speed was. So that's what we're dealing with. It's a little bit better than it was last week, but it's a lot worse than it was yesterday because God hates Dave. But yeah, before we get into what you're here for, we got to talk about a couple things. First and foremost being this goddamn music. All right. First and foremost being you guys in the Downers Club. People like Peter R. Gid. Okay, we got some new ones. I got to go back here and read them because they're new. Peter R. Gid Kid 419. Chris. Alex W. Magoo. Break the Bell. Sean Luke Picard. David Allgood. Lisa Debus. Cole. Lauren Carter. Representation 0. Vanzot Media. Anthony Peoples. Carolina B. Kyle Evans, Joe Kabinski, Mitchell Caswell, Davis Johnson, Howie Snowden, Brian McWilliams, Mary Rome, Justin Zelensky, John Barnhouse, William Wells, and many, many more. If you want to get your name on that list and possibly get it read and get a whole bunch of other stuff, go on over to patreon.com/The System Is Down and sign up for the Downers Club because we're not allowed to make any money off this show on this platform. They demonetized me long before I even tried to. And yeah, so that means I can't get super chats like all the based people like Tower Power Hour who get super chats rolling in every night, and they are doing so right now. So if my stuff is too laggy, go watch Tower Power Hour. It's on you. But patreon.com/The System Is Down. You'll get more weird, more raw, more offensive, more weekly content. That is bonus episodes of the show every single freaking week. Support the show at patreon.com/The System Is Down. We are also sponsored by some other things here. We've got, where is Jack? Here's Jack Casey. You can get Jack Casey's books at the aptly named jackcaseybooks.com. Things like Crowned by Gold and Silver Throne, The Royal Green, and his latest, which is my personal favorite because it's the only one that I've read, WVW, and I read it because it's like 100 pages. It's funny, it's dark, and it's pretty offensive. So if you like that kind of thing, go check it out at jackcaseybooks.com and support a guy who's awesome enough to support this show. We are also sponsored by thesystemsdown.tv/store. That is our merch store where you can get such wonderful shirts like the Ryle Kittenhouse Defense Attack Cats shirt. You can get the Revolution Will Not Be Televised. It will be podcasted. You can get I Find Your Hysteria Hysterical, and I'm tired of pretending like it's not, and like the Let's Go Brandon, the Forever Purge, and a whole bunch of others. You can get these and so many more over at thesystemsdown.tv/store. Store, right? Hold on. Let me check this because I don't even know my own. Okay. Thesystemsdown.tv/store is where you can get those and many, many more. Go get them and offend your friends in the most fashionable ways. All right. Now, that's not supposed to be there. Why is that there? Okay. I'm getting it together, guys. We're getting it together. That's it for for this rambling nonsense at the beginning. Let's get to what you're actually here for. I'm just kidding. Dave is not here tonight. Dave was unable to make it. No, I'm just kidding. Dave is here. Here's the intro. He's been called an alt-right, Nazi, racist, bigoted, white supremacist, homophobic, misogynistic, anti-Semitic, transphobic predator, and absolutely none of these things are less true than calling him a comedian. He is the host of the aptly named and very failed podcast Part of the Problem and co-host of his own impending cancellation called Legion of Skanks, the very first unironically anarchist president, whatever that means. And the one, the only, the very cowardly Mr. Dave Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
So I don't usually like to run jokes into the ground. I'm sure you guys aren't familiar with me doing that. But Dave, welcome to the show, friend. How are you?
Thank you, Daniel, and thank you for having me and for giving me this opportunity. I've given a lot of thought and prayer to this situation, and I've been I've spoke to everybody who's very important to me in my life. I had long talks with my wife, with my rabbi, with Nick Fuentes about the situation with this podcast, and I just want to say that I'm sorry that I've learned a lot of important lessons from this whole saga. Uh, I would say I've learned that the Holocaust was about race,
Mm-hmm.
and I now consider Jews blacks. I would say that I have learned to never promise to do a podcast and then not do it if that podcaster is awesome at video editing. That really comes back to bite you. And for anybody else out there who wants to have me on their podcast, I'm willing to do it. But Dan has set the bar. This is what you have to do in order to get me on your show. You need this much.
This level of obsession and autism. Yes.
This level of obsessive autistic trolling is what is required from now on to get me on your podcast. So let it be known.
Nice.
But thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man. It amazes me and astounds me the level of autism that is on the internet. It's like I can look at the people who follow you and tell which ones follow you for comedy and which ones follow you for libertarianism just based on how they responded to these videos. Like the ones that didn't get it at all, I'm like, yeah, you're clearly here for the politics, aren't you? You're just not picking up what I'm putting down. When I have you
messaged me at one point and you were like, dude, a lot of your fans aren't getting this. And you're like, how autistic are they? And I was like, they are still libertarians. Like even my camp of libertarians, they are still libertarians.
Yeah. Do you have any words for the folks that follow Dave Smith that are still angry at me for being too obnoxious and just being a whiny bitch riding the coattails of Dave Smith?
I mean, I don't even know what to say. You go, guys, just in general, before you get really outraged about something, just run through your head, what's the likelihood that this is a joke? Is it possible that this is a joke? And then maybe mull that over. But again, you can't teach autistic people to not be autistic. It's just
yes, the internet tried teaching me to stop being autistic all week, and it didn't work.
And this is it's not a jab at the autistic community. It's thank God we have you. You guys have the best arguments on minimum wage. But
nobody loves autists more than I do, Dave. Nobody.
Yeah, they're great people.
Yes, all of them.
Some, I'm sure.
And most of them are in the Libertarian Party, probably.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
So, Dave, how did you come to be a libertarian? I'm just kidding. Nobody cares. That is just the go-to question that everybody has to ask a libertarian when they go on a libertarian podcast. But, I am more interested in things like, what did you do last week? And what are you doing right now to make my internet so bad? I mean, I would like to say that it's not a conspiracy theory. I would like to assume that it's just weather, but when it's the weather every Wednesday, and last week when it didn't work out because of the weather, allegedly, you said, how about next Wednesday? And yesterday I was getting great upload speeds, and today I'm just, like I said in the intro, just watching it tick down as the day goes on.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of misconceptions out there, and people will be like, oh, the Jews control the weather or something like dumb like that. And no, the Jews don't control the weather. Like, not all Jews control the weather. But at our meetings, I will just like mention stuff, you know, like I'll be like, oh, this Dan guy's really giving it to me. I told him I'd be on next Wednesday, you know? And you just kind of say stuff like that. And you kind of know who the people in the meeting are. Yeah, you know, like, and then you just kind of like, if you guys want to do something about that, that'd be cool. If not, that's fine. And you just, you know, you can count on them. They come through.
Yeah. Well, the internet wasn't made for everybody, as we're proving with these jokes. But yeah, it is freaking bizarre, the whole thing. I came up with the idea for the video. Like, I didn't really care. For those of you out there who are still confused at this point, this has never been a point of contention. I was just trying to get Dave on the show, and he wasn't responding. And so I made a thing, and it worked. And they're like, oh, is this really getting the result that you were looking for? Oh, I don't know, like 500 new followers on Twitter, and Dave's coming on the show. Yes, actually.
Yes, it clearly worked.
Got more than I was planning on doing, but cool. So, yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I was laying awake in bed one night, and I was just like, man, I want to get Dave on. What could I think he responds well to like attacks, and I'm a video guy, and the Libertarian Party, they like my video work, but they don't seem to be a big fan of me for some reason. I don't know. They've said that they were going to hire me several times and never did. Still waiting on that phone call, but I'm just going to say the same thing to you that I'm saying to them right now. You can have me on your team or you can have me off your team, but once you see the work, I think you're going to want me on your team, bud.
Well, completely sincerely, you do great work. Your videos are fucking awesome, and yeah, I'd love to have you do stuff for me. But much like the Libertarian Party, it's like it's just unbelievable. It's like that whole thing where you made that video and then they were like, what did they raise like 30 grand to make a video?
Yeah.
And their video came out like months later and got
Yep.
like a fraction of the traction. I didn't mean to rhyme
My
there.
freaking exposed Dave Smith stupid video. The last I checked had like 25,000 more views on Twitter than their 30K ad that they made for the mandates. So maybe, I mean, there is certainly entertainment value there that isn't in a Christmas-looking mandate ad, but what are you gonna do with politics?
Yeah, it's a real issue, and I think I'm really hoping it's one of the things that changes as the LP is going through a lot of major changes, and I think after Reno will be, a whole different party in a lot of ways. But one of the things that I think is really important is that you have to have people in these positions who kind of have their finger on the pulse of what's going on, like what catches on the internet today. And it's not like, and I'm sure you would agree with me, it's not like the ad they made was terrible.
Yeah.
I was really concerned it would be.
Yes.
Like I was really concerned because they phrased it in a certain way when they were raising money for it. Like I forget exactly because this was a while ago now, but it was something like where they were like, we want to do an ad, opposing the mandates and standing up for choice. And the way they said that, I was like, oh man, are you gonna tie this to the abortion issue in some way? Like I really thought that's what they were gonna do, like something like that. It's not beyond like some of these LP.
We stand for choice. This is an anti-mandate ad. We stand for choice.
Yeah.
Like like getting abortions and sex work and don't wear masks.
Whatever. Yeah, like immigrating to whatever country you want to, and they're doing this and opposing the so they'd make sure that they alienated like huge portions of the base who would have liked that ad. So that was my concern. They didn't do that, but so kudos to them. The ad wasn't bad, but it was just kind of like this style of almost like a 90s political ad, like the voiceover kind of being like, are you fed up with the mandates of Joe Biden? Well, then this November, support the Libertarian Party. And you're like, dude, that's not the thing. It's very hard to describe. You're like, that's not the thing.
Right.
That's not what you do right now. That's not what catches fire right now.
It's funny you bring that up because I just did on my show yesterday. We talked about this new Trump ad that I just got. I don't know if it's like an official ad or whatever, but that's the same type of thing where it's like this old like 90s. Are you sick and tired of these mandates and the way things are going? And it's like bad graphics and shit. Like it's amazing how even the main parties aren't picking up on where the things are shifting. Like nobody's being swayed by these political ads anymore. I don't think so. That's what I'm trying to do.
All you got to do, and I don't even care, if the people who like currently are have control of the LNC or something like that, not the ones who will after Reno, but if the ones currently like they don't like me and they don't like people in the Mises caucus or something like that, it's like fine, like don't use us in your ads. But the way to do it is like even how you did it. It's like, hey, you got this guy Spike Cohen, was your VP nominee in the last election cycle, who is on a whole bunch of media, platforms, just saying the best shit imaginable about all of this, just killing it. You know what I mean? Like every panel that I've seen Spike Cohen on in the last year, like he just says the perfect thing. And he owns the entire room the whole time. Just play those clips, like kind of how you did. Cut it together, make it look good. Do that. Use the people you like. That's fine. Right. And it's like that's all you have to do. You don't need to raise $30,000 to do this. You need to find one guy who's really good at video production, and Give it to him and
Yeah.
let him do it. You could pay one of these guys, $1,000 and they'd happily go make you something great. You
Yeah.
don't need to take $30,000 for it. So was it 30,000? I don't know. I can't remember. It was
They
something
set
like
out
that.
to make they set out to raise 50K and they only got around 30K. That's
Yeah,
all.
okay.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
Um,
just
And in fairness, like you said, like I have nothing against the guy who made it. I'm sure he did the best that he could with what he was given, and I'm sure they
Yeah.
committed the hell out of it. And everybody had to have their hand in the message. I think that the Libertarian Party is afraid of aggressive messaging because they feel it violates the non-aggression principle.
Yeah, well, there seem to be some people who explicitly believe that. But in this, you would think if there was any political party that could recognize the inherent flaws in bureaucracy, it would be the Libertarian Party.
Right.
And you would hope that they could, and this is what I think is going to happen going forward after Reno, is that it'll be like, well, no, what you want to do is get really talented people and then give them free rein to be creative.
Yeah.
Which is what successful businesses do. It's not what governments do, which is get, bogged down in bureaucracy.
Right.
And what you want to have is not this and you can see it, you can even see on the Libertarian Twitter account how much there's you could tell that there's a vote before every tweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just guys, just do it. Just go ahead.
You were
Let
almost
it
there
rip.
sometimes, and
Yeah.
not other times. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And I've said it many times when talking about this video thing. I still want to work with the Libertarian Party. They've never straight up turned me down for anything, but it's been Spike saying, "Hey, you need to work with this guy. You need to work with this guy," or them saying, "Hey, we're looking for a video person." Spike saying, "Here's a video person. He worked on the Jorgensen campaign. He worked on the Cohen campaign, and all that." And then not hearing anything back. But yeah, it's never send a government to do a business or do an individual's job. And I just had the passion to do something, and the fact that it was spiteful to the LP for not using me, that just made it all the better. So
yeah, I can understand that. And look, I don't even mean to I don't want to give the wrong impression, because I am very high on the
Me too.
Libertarian Party right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. But I think it's I'm so excited about what I think the Libertarian Party is going to do in the very near future. And I think it's I think there's this incredible opportunity, and I think we're going to do really great things. And there's it's just that we're in kind of the last leg of a big shakeup that's happening, and that kind of causes all of these reactions, and people get scared about that. But I think there's no question that 6 months from now, looking back at it, people are going to be like, man, this is really awesome what the Libertarian Party is doing. And we have an opportunity right now that's just incredible. I mean, trust in all of the major institutions has evaporated. Everybody knows that the two parties are completely corrupt to their core. Everybody knows that they're being lied to by the corporate press every day, and that all of these fucking all these institutions have failed them. And then here you have this party that has capabilities to do so much amazing shit. And I think that's part of what's so frustrating, and that's part of why a lot of us have been so critical of the LP, is because we see this as look, man, there's such an opportunity here for this
All
to be
the
the most
elements are there.
incredible thing. Yeah, just this could be the most incredible thing ever. And it's we're getting in our own way. And so that's really, I think, to me, what the takeover or the Mises Caucus thing, really at the heart of it, what it's all about is let's actually try to be what we could be here. Even when you see I know there's some people who I love, but people in New Hampshire who were no, look, the Free State Project is the way to go, not the Libertarian Party, and I'm sitting here no, they're both the way to go.
Yeah.
They're going to help each other. And now look at what just happened. You got these Free Staters who have gotten the LP, support to go run for office, and now they can really like kick up some dust and make some noise and introduce people to this and like build up the Free State movement. But because the Mises Caucus and because the Libertarian Party, now this all kind of comes together and converges in this beautiful thing. So like that's always kind of been my vision for this, that it's like all of these forces together can do something amazing right now. And like I get excited just talking about it. So, but it's hard not to like, you know, point out the things we just were like with this video ad where it's like, well, look, for us to be what we need to do, we got to recognize what's going on here. You got like, if you were like a private business and you had someone like you who was making a video like that was getting all this traction, then you would just recognize that and be like, okay, we're going to hire that guy and we're going to make sure he makes another fucking video for us. And, but you know,
it's not like I was going to like make something that they didn't approve. Like, and that was the same with the campaign. Like when the Jorgensen campaign initially hired me and brought me on, me and Spike were already working together before that on Vermin's team or whatever. And then Jorgensen's team brought me on and they didn't do anything with me for a while. So me and Spike just got together and put out a video for free, and they didn't like it. So it got like 250,000 views overnight, and then they pulled it down after and fired me. And they eventually brought me back because I spitefully made a video that got their attention, and then they rehired me because that's, I don't know, that's kind of my thing. Give
well,
people
clearly, I'm aware.
Give people what they don't want and show them that they do want it. But there are some things I want to talk about outside of LP stuff, and it kind of does play into it because if you're you know, allegedly not running officially or whatever for president and whatever shit, you know, everybody brings up these different people that you're associated with, and like Nick Fuentes and Richard Spencer and Hotep Jesus, and pretty sure that's it. That's the extensive list of all these evil people, but there is something that came out today that deserves a little bit of attention. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Thaddeus Russell. Yeah, we're going straight there. Do you have any thoughts on this? Did you hear this?
So I heard like one tiny clip of it, and I was just like, maybe there's more context to this that I'm missing.
I mean, there's a few videos and the context seems to make it worse.
I haven't heard all of the videos. I saw one like little clip about it.
Yeah. Well, we can.
So what do you want my comment on?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have to.
With children.
We kind of, well, just on. I was confused by the main thing is. Like, I'm not super familiar with Thaddeus Russell's work or anything. I've heard nothing but good things about him up until basically today. And seeing this come out where he's like, we'll just play the clip so that people have a little bit of context and YouTube can't give me as many dings for it.
Still the adult child sex. That's always a big seller.
Oh, yeah. Well, that
I had good friends who said, "Are you crazy? Do not write that book."
Man, listen, you're talking to a guy who for 25 years has been making arguments more or less in defense of adult child sex in classrooms. And I don't know if it's the same argument as yours, but I even authored a piece in the Daily Beast in which I called into question the age of consent laws, which is, you know, and I brought to bear the arguments I was making in class, and I'm going to see whether they jive.
So we all know that there's the libertarian discussion to be had.
Can I just ask you, is this when was this clip from?
This clip, I looked it up because I was curious too. It was about a year ago, so it's not brand new, but it's not that old. It seems like, and I could be wrong on all this. But I mean, there's the libertarian debate over consent and all that shit. And I frankly, I am like, you know. Yes, there's a philosophical discussion to be had, like what makes 18 the magic number, and if if that's the moral number, then if there's another country where it's a lesser number, are they immoral? And if there's another country where it's a higher number, are they more moral than us? Like, how does that exactly work? But the thing that struck me most was not that he's having a philosophical conversation. It's that he's saying that he's been teaching it in schools for like 10 years that there shouldn't be an age of consent.
Right. So, I guess that, look, people like when you use the term, and I, by the way, I've known Thaddeus for a while. I've had nothing but a positive relationship with him, and I think that Renegade History was like a really fantastic book, and I've enjoyed doing his show a lot. Look, when you say the term adults who have sex with children, what most people are going to think in their head, and what I'm thinking in my head when I hear it,
is adults
somebody
having sex with
who
children.
who should be shot,
Yeah.
and maybe should be tortured before they're shot.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what we're talking. Now, if you're going to talk about, is there some nuance to like age of consent and like, okay, should the number be 18 or should it be 19 or should it be 17? Okay, you're right. It is fairly arbitrary exactly where you draw that line. And sure, there are cases where like there is consensual sex between a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
And should that be prosecuted as like the same as rape? I mean, okay, yeah, there's an argument that no, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But you do kind of have to draw the line somewhere. And the idea that like there should be no line,
Right.
or that like, this is, I just like, if you're gonna talk about this, and maybe he did, because I understand we just saw 30 seconds of this, so I don't want to judge it not having seen like what the entire conversation was. Maybe like I know other people have done this to me before on different topics, where
and I'm not going for a gotcha or anything like condemn your friend or whatever. I'm just curious your thoughts.
Things where I made it very clear what I was saying, and they intentionally cut that part of it out. So
Same here.
But so I'm not gonna like denounce anything without having seen the whole thing. I'll just tell you like what I think about it. But the to me, there is no worse crime than preying on children. And I mean that there's no worse crime. Like murder, torture, like even like rape of an adult, there is no worse crime than preying on a child.
Yeah.
That's like, to me, the absolute worst, most immoral act in the universe. And so when you're talking about that, I think you should be damn careful about what you're fucking saying and make it very clear what you're saying. And if you're saying that like, whatever, a 25-year-old, who has sex with a 13-year-old or something like that, not only do I think that person should be treated like a rapist, I think that's far, far worse than just a rapist. I think that that I not that I want to ever entrust the government to do the horrific things that I think should be done to that person, but just morally speaking,
the Bob Murphy approach. I think that's what we call that now.
Well,
did you see he got pulled into this too?
No, I didn't see that. What did he say?
I didn't see the whole conversation, but Thad said something like, so you agree that the government shouldn't punish people who do this? And Bob Murphy said yes, which I'm sure he meant, I don't think it's a government solution that would solve this problem. And of course, libs of TikTok or whatever took that and ran with it.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? Did they hit Bob Murphy?
They did.
Well, all right. That's just stupid because they probably don't get the like kind of what he's saying there.
Yeah.
God damn, I just fucking hate this subject. It's just so, it's like, look, you have to draw the fucking line somewhere. And so I don't know exactly what's the perfect line to draw it at, but I'm fine with 18.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like whatever and the line has to be drawn somewhere. In a purely libertarian anarchist society, probably different areas would draw it in different ways, but you could do a whole lot worse than 18. So I'm okay with that. And don't fucking have sex with children. Like, I don't know. Why is this like such a difficult topic? Why is this such a thing that needs to be discussed? I'm not against talking about, because I know there are cases like where, like again, like someone who's like, a senior in high school who has a girlfriend who's a sophomore in high school. I'm not like, I agree that shouldn't necessarily be illegal, but like, come on, generally speaking, it's absolutely appropriate for it to be illegal,
right,
to fucking do anything with minors sexually,
right. Even like I don't know what the age laws are for like when you can leave your family or whatever, but if you left your family at like 16 and you're making a living on your own and supporting yourself, you're telling me that's like, I don't know, there is a lot of gray area, and this isn't, I had no intention of bringing this up, but it came across the desk today, and I was like, man.
You had no intention until you brought up the video.
I had no intention of bringing this up until
know.
I saw it, and then I
just
immediately said, we're bringing that up. Because that's
I
what
saw
we
a
do
bunch
here.
of people were like tweeting, at me about it. Like, what are you going to say about the Thaddeus Russell thing? And it's like, well, honestly, in terms of saying something about him, I feel like I owe it to him to not say anything until I've actually watched the entire thing, and then, and the other thing is that, like, even just from that clip, I kind of don't want to watch this entire thing.
Right.
Like, I just don't even I don't like this conversation.
Something about the other guy make you uncomfortable, Dave? Is it something? I don't know.
It does seem a little bit. Well, look, I'll say this. It seems a little bit weird to make that your issue.
Right.
Like just so
even
many
if you
issues
believe
out there.
that in your head, is that really your hill to die on? And I think that's a big problem with libertarians in general. Like, yes, philosophically, some of these things can be discussed, but at some point, you got to be able to say, I don't know necessarily the solution to that. And I don't think the solution is, hey, just let kids do whatever they want. And also, they talk at one point, it gets pretty bad. I've watched a few clips, but at one point they say something like, well, you can tell kids to do whatever you want all the time if you're a parent, and even like things that, bring you pleasure. And like, oh boy, that's, ooh. But it's like,
well, I mean, look, like, again, there is something to be said for, and I've even heard cases where two 17-year-olds have been dating, and then the guy had like pictures from his 17-year-old girlfriend, like sexual, pictures, and then he turned 18 and then got charged with having like kiddie porn on his phone. Jeez. And that is fucked up. Like there's situations like that is genuinely like, that's really fucking like evil, and that law makes no sense.
Yeah.
But comparing the evil of that to the evil of just throwing away any law,
right,
and making it completely legal to like have there's just no comparison there. Like, so the line has to be set at a certain point. And of course, governments are terrible at everything. So they're terrible at, the nuance of where exactly how it should be prosecuted. Yeah. But my God, like there is no, and this is part of the reason, I'd say the number one thing that like disgusts me so much about the entire COVID regime is that there's no more important moral duty as individuals and as a society than protecting children.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing. It's the most important thing in your life. I know you're a father. Mm-hmm. I'm a father. There's nothing more important.
How old are your kids, Dave?
My daughter is 3, and my boy is just 4 months.
So I've got like 11 and 13. So can you even really call yourself a father stacked up against this? I mean,
you're right. You're crushing me in the father debate. But
I baptized my son on Sunday. How's that for fatherhood, huh?
Oh well, look at that.
To take it in a weird direction.
But there's just like, to me, it's like that's way beyond, way above libertarianism or whatever like other value you have, like protecting children.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing you can do as a person, and then extrapolate it out as a society. So
would you say that there's a point where you have to kind of get off the philosophy train, so to speak, like where you can say, yes, the libertarian ideal might be this, but also that's just a bridge too far, and I'm not going to go there, and this isn't worth going?
I mean, I suppose, but I also think that, I don't know if I completely agree with that. I think that if the libertarian ideal fails at a certain point, then you should question the whole ideal, if you have to get off that train. But I just don't think that that's the libertarian ideal. I think it is completely consistent with libertarianism to say that like not the same exact philosophy does not have to apply to children that apply to adults, and that, like we could all recognize that if you treated a capable adult the way you treat a 5-year-old, that would be wrong. And and if you treated a 5-year-old the way you treat a capable adult, that would be wrong. So I think that it's a correct understanding of the philosophy, which is really like the issue. And that, yeah, there's I think that, like, I do believe that children have rights. Like, it's not like children are property, but that their rights are in a sense held in escrow by their guardians.
Yeah.
And so they don't necessarily have they don't have the right to exercise all of their rights.
Right.
And when exactly we pick that like, there are gray areas, like when exactly is the correct time that they fully claim all of their rights? I don't know. Scientifically, you could argue it should be 25 or whenever, the
Right.
brain stops developing or something like that. No, I think that's a little crazy. That seems a
I think
little
you should be
nutty
able to
me.
abort kids up to about 21. I mean, if their brain's not fully developed, are they even a person yet?
I mean, I'll tell you, if you
Looking at
can
some of
abort
these
them
these people on the internet, I'm not really opposed to it anymore.
well, I actually find it less immoral than aborting them in the 3rd trimester.
That's fair.
But
Give them a chance to prove
I don't
themselves, and
know.
if they still can't quite get there, then we'll blur some lines here. But
again, just to make the point that gray areas don't disprove
Right.
the theory necessarily. Like the fact that like if somebody, like if you have a yard and outside your house and you have a no trespassing sign and someone trips on the sidewalk and falls onto your lawn, we'd all acknowledge that you can't just like shoot them in the head. But if someone at 3 a.m. breaks into your home, I think you can morally, not necessarily legally, but morally, I think you can. And so it, like, just because there's a gray area somewhere, it doesn't disprove that there's ever a point where it is black and white. So that, I don't think it's really a challenge to the libertarian philosophy. I just think it's kind of like, yeah, I do agree with you in the sense though, that it's like, yeah, at a certain point, like I care more about the obvious morality than your interpretation of libertarianism.
Yeah, and if you want to call me like something other than a libertarian, that's perfectly fine too, because you are already doing that anyway. So if it wasn't for opposing pedophilia, you would have called me not a libertarian for something much more mundane and
I've been accused of not being a libertarian many times, and from my perspective, and I think this is firmly grounded in the best, libertarian thinkers who have ever lived. I'm not unlibertarian on one issue. There's not one single issue that I'm not libertarian on.
By your definition, which you just changed, like Dr. Fauci on your website, I'm sure. That you just keep shifting the definition of libertarian. Libertarianism now doesn't include abortion or pedophilia, Dave. I mean, come on.
I've never
Where are you drawing these lines?
gain of function of concern, Dan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense. Speaking of the COVID stuff, you recently had a nice bout of COVID yourself, I hear. Is this your first time? Your first trip around the COVID wheel?
So I think that I had it early. But it's one of those ones where, like, I don't know. It was like in January, me and my wife and my daughter at the time all got really, really sick, and we suspect it may have been COVID. But it was like I never get sick, and this like knocked me on my ass, and it started as a head cold and went into my lungs, and like everyone, my wife had the same experience. My daughter didn't have much; she had a fever for a little bit, and then she was fine. But it was fucking crazy, and our suspicion is that this was COVID, but we don't know. But since then, not that I know of, I don't think so. I haven't been sick since then. I don't really get sick much. I have a pretty good immune system, I think. I don't really get sick. And maybe I had it and was asymptomatic. I don't fucking know. I wasn't like testing that regularly, but all the times I've tested, I've been negative and all that. But yeah, just recently got it. I believe from the Arizona Libertarian Party State Convention.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but well, I was hanging out with my boy Jeremy Todd the whole weekend, and he got it and he tested positive for it, like and I tested positive for it. So I don't know who gave it to who, but we were together a lot, and he was driving me around in his car a whole lot, so we were in an enclosed area together. So I had it, but I mean, I don't know. I had incredibly mild. I mean, there's like no story here.
You were
other
still
than, like, I had a
podcasting,
stu-
so you must
yeah,
have been
I had a
not that
stuffy
bad.
nose. Yeah, that was my trials and tribulations with COVID. So I guess
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, or I don't know, it was around Christmas time. I guess it's been a little bit longer than that, but I got it too. And I feel like if you watch my episodes back then, you can see me going downhill. And I did a 3-hour episode, and by the halfway through the third hour, I'm like, my voice is just completely gone. And then I was just a wreck for like a week. And then I came back the next Wednesday right on schedule, and I was like, I'm better. We're good here. So
Well, there you go.
But I wanted to ask you about, you quarantined yourself into a basement, right? Don't you think
it wasn't. It was an attic.
Okay. So you weren't seeing your family all week? Is that don't you think that's a little, I don't know, gay?
Yes. I suppose so. I suppose a little bit. Well, I got my boy has had some like pretty serious health issues.
Okay.
So I'm very, very paranoid and concerned about getting him sick. So
Mhm.
yeah, I was I was very careful to make sure that I wasn't around him while I had it. But the truth is that COVID is probably the least of the concerns, like like a cold or the flu or the like other things that are way more concerning, like RSV or
Dangerous
stuff like that. Could be, like,
viruses and stuff. Yeah.
well, yeah, it could be way more
Yeah.
dangerous. But in all seriousness, like my boys had like quite a journey in his few months in life. So
I'm
I'm
still convinced
very,
that you
very
made all
careful.
that up to keep from coming on the show. I've been spreading that rumor as well. All your kids are fake. Your kids' health concerns, they weren't real. You're just avoiding me the whole time.
That'd be a lot. I went through a lot. Man, if I could act that good, I wish.
Yeah. I was impressed, I gotta say. But no, how is your boy doing? Is he
Oh, he's
pulling
doing great. He's incredible, man, and he's like the cutest little 4-month-old baby boy, and he's just so great. And it's incredible, man. Like, I mean, yeah, I know your kids are older, and I'm sure there's like incredible things about that age too. But
No,
as you know,
it's pretty
like,
bad.
no, it's just like, but there's
No, they're
something,
great.
dude. Those having like right now having like a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old, it really is like, I try to remind myself every day, and multiple times a day, to be like, dude, just soak this in because it's so great. Like
Yeah.
you're just overloading on cute, every second. So it's
Well,
great.
you young
I
whippersnapper,
really,
just know
I
it goes
really
by
love it.
fast, and they grow up faster than you think, and pretty soon they'll be out of the house. And
Well, I have learned it with my daughter to some degree because it's like, I mean, not that, I've been
She
a
moving
parent
out
for that
already?
long, but she is
Nice.
moving out, and she's talking to Thaddeus Russell a lot, which is weird. But
Send her to
no,
school.
but just like I watch these I watched videos that I and pictures of her when she was a little baby, and you'll see it sometimes and you're like, man, this was I mean, it literally feels like I blinked and
Mhm.
she's 3. And so now having another baby, I'm really trying to force myself to be like, no, this is going to be over so soon. So just
Right.
enjoy it.
No, I'm
but
not
it's
going
great.
on Dan's podcast. I'm going to watch this one. Actually, I'm just going to sit in a basement by myself and not be around my kids.
It was an attic. Not even
Yeah,
an
whatever.
attic. It was kind of an upstairs, second floor, whatever.
Gotcha.
I wasn't at my house. I was at a different house.
Yeah. So I don't know. On that, like, I know you talk about the COVID stuff a lot. I talk about it a lot. I'm sick of talking about it. I'm sick of hearing about it. But I am curious. Like, I've been talking about this like shift that we've kind of been seeing. I'm curious if you've seen the same shift in the media narrative, shift in the script, kind of backpedaling softly, where they're kind of doing the soft COVID reboot right now and turning this thing into something a little less dangerous that we're gonna have to live with it now forever. And I think it was Denmark that just announced that they're done with all of it. They're done with vaccines. They're done with the masks. They're done with everything. They're like, this is bullshit. We're not doing it.
Well, the UK announced it, and then I think they followed.
Okay.
So it is interesting, and I really don't think I think primarily it's the Omicron variant. I mean, I think that's what's doing it, is that a substantially less deadly or a substantially lower like death rate, variant that's
Mhm.
more contagious just kind of broke the narrative. And especially one that's also, it's like the death rate is way lower on this variant. It's way more contagious and it's way more resistant to the vaccine. And that's
Yeah.
very, very hard to cover up.
Yeah.
It's just like obvious. People see it all over the place. I mean,
Yeah.
I was just talking the other day to a family friend who's like a real liberal, like has the worst politics you could imagine. Not even like the redeeming qualities of a left winger,
Right.
just a neoliberal, like
Nice.
just I'm completely going along with the establishment.
So like your average base Twitter person, like your Twitter
Yes.
character. Yeah.
Right. And she was saying like, and she's completely bought into the entire thing.
Mhm.
And she
What
was
color's
saying
her
to me
hair?
that- huh?
What color is her hair?
No, it's not dyed.
Okay,
It's
check.
just she's just a regular brunette. But she is like a Hillary Clinton Democrat.
Yeah.
And she was saying to me that she's like, I'm so angry because she just got her booster a month ago and then she got Omicron and she was sick as shit, and she's like, look, I got sick from the vaccine. Then I got sick from the booster. And then I still got sick from Omicron,
Right.
and she sees all her like unvaccinated friends who got less sick than she did from the Omicron. So she's like, what the fuck? Like, this is
Mhm.
pissing me, and there's just so much of that all around. Like people see their unvaccinated friends and their vaccinated friends getting it exactly the same way, having, that there's no, even though this is anecdotal, it's like when it's right in front of your eyes, it's more powerful. But you see at this point that, what Justin Trudeau said the other day, like, well, this is a fringe movement
Right.
who opposes us. But then you see the videos of the like trucker protests and the protests in Canada. You're like, I mean, it doesn't seem that fringe,
Right.
Doesn't seem like, like it's not Charlottesville fringe.
Right.
It's not the Nazis in Florida fringe. That you're not talking about like a few people. You're talking about Joe Rogan and Elon Musk and Glenn Greenwald and fucking, you know what I mean?
Super
Like,
fringe,
and then
yeah.
just within the libertarian world, right? Like it's the completely dominant voice. Like all of the biggest voices in the libertarian world are completely opposed to this shit. And like, you're like, okay, so like, what do you mean by fringe?
Mhm.
Seems like this is a pretty big, like,
It's a lot of fringe, my friend. It's a
yeah,
lot of
exactly.
fringe.
So I don't know. I think that there is something about like, I think it's kind of coming unglued in a way, and I'm optimistic about that. I think we still have to be cautiously optimistic, but it's great that there's things do seem to be turning in a way.
Mhm. Now, if your friend, you're not blue-haired, definitely not blue-haired friend, was 12 boosters in, would it still be her fault for getting COVID?
Yeah.
If she was 12 shots in.
Did she consensually take all of those boosters?
Well, it's hard to say these days. Probably
Oh
not.
man, I don't even know what.
God. We're not really going to go there. I don't give a
would
shit.
be
I agree with you on that.
This
which
is
I'm
the
probably gonna
best
get in trouble for
controversy
saying.
you could find of me.
Right.
But back in 2012 or whatever, in 2016, I said something that I was right about.
Right.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
I stand by it. I was right.
Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of like the Jordan Peterson on Joe Rogan thing where they pulled this one clip where he's saying, well, black people aren't literally black unless they're literally black, and people took that as a racist statement. It's like, so you had a 4-hour conversation between the two most evil guys that you had, and this
And
is
that's
what you came
got.
up with. Okay.
Well, I swear to God, like some of these people, like the people who are known as the loser brigade, who I don't think I've ever met any of them.
They're not real.
I don't know. Yeah, I believe they are, but I don't know. If not, they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
But if I ever met one of them, I think I would thank them. Like I really do think I would go, hey, like, thank you for all the help.
Yeah.
Because it's like at a certain point, like you're like, if you don't even realize that this is so helpful. Like you freaking out where there's nothing to freak out about
Right.
really has done so much to make me and my whole camp look so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
now
I
your
don't know.
camp freaking out about me making a joke ad makes your camp
That hurts. That hurts.
less good.
Stop. Stop doing that.
Yeah. I wonder how many people are in the chat right now still confused as to when I'm bringing out the meme that brings Dave Smith down. But it's coming any minute now. Just hold on. We're getting there. Yeah. I don't remember where I was going, but the freakouts and everything. With this exposed Dave Smith thing, I was kind of like when I had the idea in my head, I was like, this isn't just a brilliant idea because I'm not really this egotistical in real life. I don't actually pat myself on the back this hard, but this one I was like, this is a good idea because not only will it get the attention and it'll get the laughs, which is like it'll get the show promotion and all that stuff, but I was like, there's going to be, if Dave Smith does allegedly run for president or whatever, not officially or whatever, then there's going to be people going out there looking for videos like expose Dave Smith and like looking up things like davesmithexposed.com or whatever, and hey, they can just bring them to me and I'll give them all the juicy, gory details of Dave Smith. What's funny is like all these people are getting pissed off at me, and I'm like, I like paid money to try and help this guy, like possibly avoid one or two people going down stupid rabbit holes of Dave Smith tweets. But do you have any concerns about things like that? Like, how are you going to handle the tweets, the jokes, and especially the other podcast, the podcast we don't talk about that's going to be your undoing in the future?
No. I honestly, I really don't. I just don't think from my perspective, like us in this libertarian world, we're already like, I think there are, there's one of the big splits, and this doesn't describe the entire, dynamic of splits within libertarians, but one of the major splits, like kind of the like Cato versus Mises Institute splits is in a way defined by whether people believe that we are the true moderates or we are the true radicals.
Yeah.
And I believe that we are the true radicals. That's how I feel. I feel like, much like the Ron Paul, message, like that we're the true revolutionaries. And that's kind of how I've always felt. So the idea that what the corporate press would try to go after me for offensive jokes, or something like that, the mouthpieces for war criminals would be offended by jokes I've made, and that's something I should be concerned about. Like, my attitude,
I never blew up a bunch of brown people. I never tortured people.
What are you talking about? I'm a comedian in the United States of America.
Yeah.
I will say and joke about whatever the fuck I want to. And who the hell are you to fucking think that you can judge me for that? Like, what have you guys done? You guys have destroyed the nation. I couldn't even imagine the idea that a libertarian is even like, ooh, what about this?
Right.
This big problem. Like, you lied us into 7 wars, and your concern is over whether I said no words on a Sillies podcast.
And people that are obsessed with, like, not just supportive of like pro-choice and all that stuff, people who are obsessed with abortion in the Libertarian Party are offended by jokes about like incest or rape or whatever,
even removed from the jokes, even like if they go to like, well, here are these views that you have that we really disagree with, it's kind of like, oh, well then, okay, let me talk about, I can defend all of my views and here are your views. And so that to me, I see, I think this is like a big this is a really big fundamental divide amongst libertarians. And I think it's amongst the libertarians who say like freak out about like the New Hampshire LP and their messaging and how dangerous this is. Oh my God, this will ruin us. And by the way, there have been, and I've talked to some of the New Hampshire guys before where I've been like, I didn't like this one. That you should say it like this.
I've had Kaufman on my show many times. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and like I think I have a good relationship with those guys, and I think that, I'm not in charge of them. I'll offer my opinion when I think it's helpful, and sometimes they'll be like, we disagree with you, and that's like, okay, that's okay.
Right.
But we're all free people, And so you can disagree with me, but the idea of like these people who go like, there's a huge constituency within the libertarian world who go like, well, we can't say things like this or the corporate press will destroy us.
Right.
But
Because
then
they love us otherwise.
right, like, but then there's like my attitude on that is like, dude, if we're ever a threat to the establishment, then the corporate press is going to attempt to destroy us.
Right.
That's a guarantee. So what are
They're
we going to
already
live in
calling us
fear of
terrorists.
that?
How much farther
Yeah.
can we fall at this point?
Like, exactly. Are we going to be concerned about that? Or should our attitude be like, well, these are blood-soaked monsters.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't care what their opinion of us is. What I care about is like what could possibly lead to what could possibly like get people up out of their seats and inspire them to care about something. Like that's what gets me motivated, not, oh my God, we better make sure we protect ourselves. And truth is treason in the empire of lies, like
Yep.
it doesn't matter. Like if you ever tell the truth or a really important, dangerous to the establishment truth, then like, yeah, that's gonna garner that reaction.
Truth is treason in the empire of lies. I'm pretty sure the great Ron Paul said that once, but I'm reminded of a better and more impactful quote, which was, Dave Smith is a coward for not going on The System is Down. For those of you that didn't
He
get
said
it,
both of those.
yeah, he did.
He did.
You can see it. It was on, I think, the Liberty Report, but I could be wrong. Now we let's take so. A couple weeks ago, I trolled saying that you were coming on the 300th episode because I had Dave Casey and Joshua Smith just for the lulz, just for the fun of it. And I told people, hey, call in with your well wishes for the 300 or thoughts for Dave. And so we've got some confusing messages at this point of people who thought that they were talking to you a couple weeks ago and people who think that maybe now is my 300th episode, but it's not. And but Dave's here now, so some of these we'll play and some of them we'll replay. Some of them will be held over for the after party, and we'll talk about them there because, yeah, we're not going to spend our entire time listening to what you guys have to say. But here's just a couple of them, and respond however you feel like. You don't have to respond at all. Like, you're a libertarian and freedom of association. You didn't even have to be here today. But here's the first one.
Yeah, this is Clint Russell from Liberty Locked In. Just wanted to see which one of you is my father, because like I need mentorship and stuff, and it's definitely one of you two, so thanks in advance.
Any thoughts, Dave?
Clint, you're a millionaire. If I was your father, I'd be asking you for money, okay? Not getting anything from me.
And you're older than me, but I am the more qualified father, as we've already discussed. So, I mean, if you're like looking for a father, that's a different conversation. But I don't know your mother. I'm sure she's out there. She's probably been doxxed as well, but I haven't met her yet. So here's another one.
If your real father is out there, he knows where to find you. Let's just say that.
That's probably that's probably true. Thank you. Person's girlfriend. We don't need to get into that. Whatever.
Hey, Dan of The System is Down. It's Forrest. Congratulations for your 300th episode, and congratulations for finally reeling Dave Smith in. Lord knows it took you a long time to do it, and glad that it finally happened. So just want to say thank you for the years that I've been able to listen to this show, and it's really helped me kind of look at politics and social issues from a different perspective, and it's inspired a lot of the work that I do now. And if Dave Smith is hearing this, thank you, Dave, for the ways that you've helped me see the world and helped me learn bit by bit how to live my life with a different perspective on things politically. And thank you also in turn for leading me to Ron Paul, who's just an awesome guy. And so thank you guys, and again, congratulations on 300 episodes, Dan.
You can respond nicely, or you can respond meanly. It's up to you. Your call.
Dude, I mean, look, the most genuine way I could respond is it kind of blows my mind when people tell me I led them to Ron Paul.
Right.
And, Ron Paul is the guy who, like, inspired me to, he introduced me to all this shit, which has become such a huge part of my life. And I think that's so awesome if there's somebody I could introduce to the greatest living American hero. So that's awesome. That warms my heart.
Yeah. And someday we'll look back on this and people will be thanking you for introducing them to Dan Smots. Now this,
exactly.
I'm like, I was texting my brother earlier because I'm normally not like this arrogant douche. Like I've got a real dry sense of humor, if you couldn't tell, really sarcastic and everything. But I'm normally don't double down as much as I have on this thing. And my brother was like, so he like invited me onto his podcast tonight. Break the Bell in the chat. Everybody check them out. He said should trademark. I don't know what that has to do with anything. He's just talking. But check out Break the Bell podcast. That's my brother's show. And he was texting me earlier like, hey, do you want to come on a show tonight and talk about yada yada? And I was like, I've got Dave tonight. He's like, do you though? Like he still wasn't sure what I was doing here. And it's like allegedly yes, but so that's fun. I don't remember what brought that up or why I said it, but it's all good. Anyway, we'll play some more. This is from No Name, I don't think.
Okay, I've been up for like 18 hours straight, but I think I figured it out. I put all the pieces together, and here's what I've come to my conclusion. I know some things about Dave Smith, some things that I've figured out recently that I just feel like the whole world has to know about if this guy's going to try and become president. Okay, first off, Dave is a Fed, okay? I figured it out. I know it's a lot. I know people probably say it all the time, but look, think about it. When have you ever seen this man's family? We keep hearing about these new kids. We keep hearing about his wife. When have you actually ever seen him? And his excuse is, oh, he doesn't want to show them on social media, right? He wants their privacy. It's actually all just a big lie. He just needs to spend time going to his big old Fed meetings. That's why he says he has a family, so that way he doesn't have to do part of the problem, consistently on the schedule like he promises everybody. He's actually doing a bunch of Fed shit. But here's the thing. You're probably thinking, how did he even get involved with that? Because he actually used to be pretty good. He was fine. He wasn't involved with it, but they got him because, well, here's the next thing that I found out about Dave Smith. He is a crackhead. That's right. He does crack cocaine regularly. And when they got him on film doing crack cocaine, they were able to turn him into an informant. And so ever since he's been working for the feds, just smoking crack like crazy. Now you're probably wondering, why did he do crack?
2 minutes feels way longer.
This leads me to my third and final point. The thing that I found out about Dave that truly just blew my mind. Dave was depressed because he is transgender. I know that a lot of people probably think that's crazy. He talks shit about them all the time. He's a bigot. He's an alt-right Nazi, and he hates trans people. But look, it's actually just overcompensation. He really just wants to throw you off and make you think that he's not. But turns out he is. Dave Smith is a transgender crackhead Fed.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I'm a conspiracy guy, and you're not that passing for masculine. Go ahead.
Right.
Feel free to respond.
All right, look. That guy's right about everything. But ask yourself this question. How would he know all of that? If he wasn't
Was that your wife?
That is my non-existent wife. Yes, I was born a woman. Sure, I don't have a family. And yes, I am on the payroll for the FBI. But whatever. That guy is too. So if I go down, I'm bringing him down with me.
Nice.
You'll have to recognize him from his voice. I guess he didn't leave a name.
Did you get the bottom surgery too? Just curious. Am I not allowed to ask if you got the bottom surgery? Is that
it was like it was kind of like a makeshift home operation, but yeah, I think I
kind of tucked it up in there.
Yeah, I got no. I was born a woman. I'm going as a man now. I built a makeshift penis.
I think it's confusing. Sorry. On the conspiracy stuff, I'm sure there are some people in the chats because I dig into that stuff a bit. And by a bit, I mean more than I should. What are your thoughts on the moon landing? I know this is completely out of left field, but that's my jam. Do you think that man has walked on the moon or no?
Oh, I honestly, I fucking have no idea. I don't really. I've never really
exactly what a Fed would say
before. But it's like, well, I don't know. You think the government would lie to you? Come on. No, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like the idea of the government lying to me isn't like the craziest thing in the world. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe not. But I've also heard certain arguments about the conspiracy that I think are really silly and kind of bullshit. But then I've heard some things that I do find to be a little bit
Mark Claire,
curious.
moon landing debate. Me versus Dave Smith. I'll bring 3 memes and we'll shut this down. But
you'll win it because I literally have never taken an interest in it.
It's all good. Yeah, I'm sure that's how most people are. But I am curious about your thought on like libertarians and conspiracy theories in general, because I've gotten some pushback from libertarian types for being like, oh, this is like tainting our brand or whatever because you're talking about crazy things. But I got up at PorkFest and gave a rant one time, and I was like, you know, look around. We're in the middle of the fucking mountains talking like there's mushrooms and AK-47s over there. Like, we're already crazy. We don't believe in government. That's enough to get you labeled a terrorist and a crazy person. You don't trust your government. I'm just asking you to not trust your government just a little bit more. That's really all it takes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess my thing is like, there are a bunch of conspiracy theories that that bug me when they're so sloppy and inaccurate, you know, like loose change type shit.
Sure.
Where you're like, oh, dude, come on, man. Don't just like make a fucking video from your dorm room with all this certainty when you're saying all this dumb shit that can easily be disproven, you know, like, so there is that. But at the same time, you're like, the fact that when people are just anti-conspiracy theory, that really pisses me off too.
Right.
Like, it's like, don't you
the atheist versus the the agnostic. I don't care if you don't care. That's fine. But when you're like, oh, you're fucking retarded because you think the man hasn't walked on the moon.
I don't even understand not caring. Like, you know, like, first off, here's like my perspective from which I think most libertarians should have. Let's just say hypothetically, right? Let's say every single classified document was declassified, and even the things that weren't written on documents were just known. Like, you could just know it all. You knew everything the CIA has done, and you knew everything the NSA has done, and everything the FBI has done, and everything the 3-letter organizations we've never heard of have done, and everything every president's done. You knew all of that. Like, you just knew it. Do you think the result of that would be you going, it was just like they told us?
Right.
There was nothing more to the story. You know, like, really, do you have that attitude? Does it like, of course there's conspiracies all around us, and there's many that we know of that would, like, obviously were huge conspiracies.
Yeah.
And you know, just the wars and the fucking, you know,
the existence of government.
Yes, the existence of government, the pharmaceutical companies being in bed with government throughout the whole COVID regime. I mean, so many of these things, like, are just, you know, there's so who knows what exactly the details were, but my thing is almost like, don't you want to know? I mean, I think you should acknowledge that we don't know a lot of these things, but don't you just kind of wanna, like, right. Don't you want to know why Richard Nixon was really impeached?
Right.
Like, you know, like, why, like, and part of it, I'm sure, is the official reason, but there's more than that. We all know there's more than that.
Right.
Like, why did the entire establishment turn against Richard Nixon? I don't know, but I'm interested. And like, if someone like claims they have something about it, I'm kind of interested. Now, I don't know if all of that's true. Oh, he knew about the Kennedy assassination or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that's not true. Yeah. But I still kind of want to know. And that's kind of
why
my
would you not? It's funny because, like, I'm not a Holocaust denier, and we're not going to really go there. But there was something.
I'm glad you opened with that.
So there was something trending on Twitter yesterday or the day before that was like, they found the person who betrayed Anne Frank, and why does it matter at all? This is going to lead to, like, Holocaust denial or whatever. Like, in the title, they're like, why does this matter? And it's like, well, because if there's facts, then we should know the history and the facts, if they're facts. Like, that was suspicious already. But then they're like, this could lead to Holocaust denial. And I'm like, well, click I guess. Like, it feels like bait, but it feels like you want me to click on this to find out why, and I still don't understand completely what they were going for. But I don't know. Like, there's so many things on Twitter, like, oh, there's the Great Reset is actually, this is what conspiracy theorists think about the Great Reset, and here's why it's false. Like, they're bringing it up. It's just really strange that they keep bringing these things up in trending on Twitter to
well, it's like
keep us from looking into it.
Yeah, like if it's not a thing, then why do all the most powerful people around the globe keep saying this one phrase?
What, the
Like, where did
Holocaust
that
isn't
come
real?
from? Yeah, Holocaust. Like, why? No, you know what I'm saying though. It's like they
Yeah.
all say like build back better and the Great Reset and all these things. It's like clearly you guys are like to
They
some
wrote a
degree
freaking
in
book, and they have a
cahoots.
podcast called The Great Reset. I don't know how much
Yeah,
more
so,
evidence
like,
you want.
So there's something to it. That doesn't mean that everything. And I will say on the other end that I do get like frustrated with the tendency to just jump in
Yeah.
to every conspiracy theory, you know? And I
Absolutely.
get frustrated with people who you know, it's like I think partially righteously because he's been so silenced and deplatformed and in such a fucked up way. And Alex Jones was right about so much shit that the corporate press was wrong about, you know? But I see like a lot of libertarians who like Alex Jones will get something, you know, right. And they're like, Alex Jones, right again.
Right.
And it's just like, look, as someone who's like watched Alex Jones for a little bit, not that much, but I watched his show a little bit back in the day. It's like, yeah, he also got a ton wrong.
He did come out
Like,
saying that
a
Q was
ton
absolutely
wrong.
real, and he said many times he knew who Q was, and then he's like, no,
Oh.
I knew Q was a psyop from the beginning. Like, it's not like he's always been right
Dude.
just because he Googled some things.
No, dude, he was wrong constantly. Like, if you just watched his show even a little bit, it's just all the time predictions with certainty. This is
Yes.
gonna happen. Shit that didn't happen at all. I'm talking about. I remember watching him and Roger Stone do a show right before. I think it was right before Gorsuch, or it might have been Kavanaugh. But it was right when it was announced that Donald Trump had another opening for the Supreme Court, and they went live and announced for a fact that Donald Trump was going to appoint Judge Andrew Napolitano to the Supreme Court. And then like the next week,
Right.
there's no like apology or we got that wrong. They just move on to the next thing. There were
The same
so
shit
many
that they
things.
give
so many,
CNN
and by the
shit
way,
for.
and the Sandy Hook thing, he really did do that. I mean, I know eventually he walked it back and said, "Oh no, that was a real shooting," but there was a whole period of time there.
Hey, I got
where it
kicked
was
off.
like,
I got kicked off YouTube for that conversation, but it's all good.
Oh, sorry.
Continue.
Well, I don't want to get you kicked off again, but
No, it's all good.
he did say that for a long time, and it's like he pretends like, oh no, I'm on record saying I didn't believe that. It's like, yeah, after you said you did
Yeah.
for a while. So I don't know. Just don't go down the road of being like a goofy conspiracy theorist, because that'll just that just makes you look crazy to everybody. But you should be able to you know, walk the line of still being like, yeah, but obviously our government is lying to us and commit horrific atrocities.
Right.
My thing has always been like, it's like if it's the government, like we have them on things that we can prove 100%. So why do we need to like
Right.
stretch and try to pretend like we can prove things that we can't?
Yeah, I kind of agree, and there are definitely things that we can look to, like Gulf of Tonkin, USS Liberty, like MK Ultra, shit like that, where it is proven, it's declassified that these things happened.
Operation Northwood is a great example of that, you know? So yeah.
Or even just like front page news with things like Waco. Like, I mean, where's the line for conspiracy? But I don't know. I mean, for me, I try to look at these things like just as an exploration, just the same way as we can talk about like libertarian age of consent laws and stuff, even though we're not really wanting to go there. Like, let's have this
I'd rather
conversation. No, me neither. But when it comes to things like flat Earth and crazy shit like that, or the moon landing and stuff, I'm like, as long as you're saying, I don't know, let's explore together, like let's look into this, I don't think there's any harm in it, and I think that there's only good that can come out of either exploring enough that you disprove yourself, or exploring enough that you're like, there might be something here.
Sure. I guess I don't disagree with that in theory. There's nothing wrong with exploring stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I like how you're like kind of couching it based
I mean,
on
if you're
what I bring up next. Like
the flat Earth in there. I think that one's pretty retarded, but all right.
That's fine.
Yeah, sure.
That's fine. I love the flat Earth theory, but that's a conversation for another day. We've gone for about an hour and 20. Let's maybe do one more call, and then we will jump over into bonus. If you're not already in the Patreon, go sign up for Patreon. I don't know if I'll be able to get you in there in time for the private live stream, but try it. Hit up like CD McRae or Shannon, and they're in the chats, and they'll help you out. But here's the next one. I don't know what it is, but we'll find out.
Hey, Dan, it's David Brady, the guy you call David Bradley. Congratulations on over 300 episodes, man.
Thank
Great accomplishment. And congrats on getting Coward Dave Smith onto your show.
Thank you.
I'm very impressed. Hopefully he will stop being such a bigot, and glad that he actually took the time to acknowledge your work. So, Dave, next time, don't try to use the weather against Dan. Congrats. Have a good one.
I'm not actually harboring a community of people that think that you're using the weather against me. And it's hard for me to know at what point is my joke triggering other people's autism, and at what point do I realize I'm the autist if nobody else understands my jokes?
And at what point do you honestly start believing that I control the weather and
Right.
and took down your internet?
Yeah.
But if I did, why would I come on when your internet's still kind of choppy today?
That's true.
So I don't know.
That actually reminds me of the
and
point
I'm not going to stop
I was
being a
making
bigot.
earlier. I got 2 method acting, and my brother was texting me, and I was like, I don't even know anymore if Dave's coming on tonight. But
I don't even remember what this whole thing was.
It's all a blur.
She told me to stop being a bigot.
That was actually a he.
Stop being a coward.
That was actually
Bigotry
a man.
will never die.
That was a person named David.
No, that's what I mean. I was trying to insult David.
Oh, okay.
That was a dude?
It was a pretty high
All
voice
right.
for a David, but carry on.
Sorry, David.
I mean, I might be the one misgendering based on names. I can't confirm or deny,
pretty
but
fucked up.
Yeah,
That's
I
wrong with
apologize.
There you go.
I denounced this show as bigoted and whatever. Dave, it's been an absolute blast, man. Thank you so much for finally manning up and coming on the show. And
My pleasure,
giving
brother.
me the
Thank
time.
you for having me, man. I'm sorry it took this long, but it did make it a lot more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can watch you and see you're definitely not campaigning and definitely not running for president stuff, and definitely not offensive podcasts.
Listen, I don't know what I'm doing with all that stuff, but I don't know. Maybe I'll run, maybe I won't. I think Scott Horton's going to make me, but I can't tell you for sure. But I will. Listen, I'll say this. I'm going to be at
Scott Horton's off camera
of
with a gun at your head right now.
Just
Say it.
Did I
Say
say
it.
the right thing? The thing about conspiracy theories, I thought that was right. But I'm going to be at a bunch of the state LP conventions because I'm really going hard. I think what we're doing right now in the Libertarian Party is incredible. I think Reno's going to be amazing. We're going to hold on. Sorry. The shoulder right there. That's what I'm all about. The Mises Caucus, Libertarian Party. Things are going big. I will be at the California convention. I'll be at the Florida convention. I'll be at the Texas convention. I'll be at the Colorado convention. I'll be at the Minnesota convention. Maybe a few others that I've forgotten. I've already gone and done the Arizona one and some others, and it's just been great. I really enjoy coming out to these things and meeting everybody. So again, I got a bunch more of them coming up. So look for me there. Yeah, Comic Dave Smith on Twitter, and you guys know the rest. Part of the problem.
Absolutely. So any final thoughts, any words of wisdom for, you speak to fathers a lot and you speak to libertarians a lot, and we've got Reno coming up. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Do you give me your 2-minute or 30-second or whatever you want elevator pitch for whatever you feel like?
Well, that's interesting. I don't know. What that's
you can go fatherhood or you can go libertarian.
That's very broad.
Just pivot into whatever you feel like. That's the political way. I'm trying to train you.
Do what you think is right.
You need the thumb.
And always remember that the United States of America is right behind you. Now, man, I don't know. I think it's like right now, the fucking, you know, the country and the world is in a crazy time, but be happy that you're alive and we got a lot of good shit going for us. It's you know, as crazy as shit is, it's a lot easier than the world was for my grandfather. And let's fight for what we believe in, and let's see if we can't do something incredible, all of us together. So there you go. That's it.
Awesome. Well, Dave, thanks so much, man. We'll jump over into the bonus. Just hang tight, and we'll get over there. To all of you people in the chats and all around the world, please come join us at patreon.com/The System Is Down in the Downers Club, where you will get the live stream right after this. Maybe we'll take a pee break. I don't know. But in about 5-10 minutes or so, we'll be over there doing some more, taking some more calls, some call-ins, maybe talking some more conspiracies, maybe getting a little more offensive. Who knows? But patreon.com/The System Is Down. Get in there and hit me up if you're trying to get in there, and we'll see what we can do. But thank you so much for being here on this this harrowing day that finally came. It was like the second coming of Christ, because it was always coming soon, as it always will be. But Dave is no longer a coward, or is he? I don't know. It might be kind of like COVID, where even if you comply, things don't go away that annoy you. Who knows? But thank you again, and let's wrap this up. Until next time, I guess we'll be... I think the next time we'll be here, maybe Monday, maybe Wednesday, Tuesday, somewhere around there. We'll be doing another news recap, news roast. Tune in for that, and check everything out at thesystemisdown.tv. Check me out on Twitter at TSIDpod and all that fun stuff. Do the liking and sharing and bullshit that millennials do. But until then, question everything, stay uncomfortable, and we'll talk to you then. Peace out.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe on your way out and help us change the world one uncomfortable conversation at a time. And if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, go join the Downers Club at patreon.com/The System Is Down for bonus episodes of the show every single week. Until next time, please continue to question everything, stay uncomfortable, and I'll talk to you then. Thanks.
This has been a Goulash Media production. goulashmedia.net.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.